Well, at least 20 people have been killed and more than 450 others wounded by a second wave of explosions from wireless communication devices in Lebanon. Reports say a large number of walkie-talkies used by the armed group Hezbollah blew up in the southern suburbs of the capital, Beirut, the Bekaa Valley and southern Lebanon, which are seen as its strongholds. Hezbollah blamed Israel for Tuesday's attack and vowed revenge. The attacks, which were widely believed to be carried out by Israel, targeting Hezbollah, have hid fears that the two sides' simmering conflict could escalate into an all-out war.
The Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, expressed strong condemnation of jihadist attacks, which a day earlier hit the capital of Mali, whose junta says it is quitting the regional body. The Economic Community of West Africa States, in a statement, reiterates its strong commitment in favor of an initiative favorable to peace. Now, Bamako was hit by a deadly attack claimed by an Al-Qaeda-linked jihadist group. The Malian capital is normally spared the sort of attacks that occur almost daily in some parts of the West African country. Now, details of the toll from the attack on the military police training center and airport have not been released.
Well, now we're joined by RISE analyst, Dr. Constance Ikokwu. Constance, glad to have you join us this morning.
Good morning,
on Daybreak. All right, let's discuss. Well, this is it the second day? Or the second day now?
Yeah, the second.
The attacks allegedly committed by Israel's Mossad and the IDF, the Israel Defense Forces, this time now on walkie-talkies, and the talk is that there is likely an escalation, and Netanyahu is saying we're now changing gear concerning the war. We're now going to Lebanon. But there is cry about the fact that children are also affected.
Well, changing gear indeed. I mean, after Tuesday's pager explosions, we thought we had seen it all. But this new wave of explosions involving walkie-talkies, laptops, and radios adds another dimension to the conflict, joining Lebanon and Iran, of course, and then Israel, including Gaza, which was, the point of the conflict initially. And the Israeli defense minister somewhat acknowledged it when he said that we are in a new phase of the war. So what this shows is that the tit-for-tat approach in the ongoing conflict is not about to end. Lebanon is left to pick up the pieces, over 400 injured, over 14 people dead, and the hospitals are overflowing with patients. Doctors are horrified. In fact, one doctor was quoted as saying that he had never removed as many eyes as this before, showing the level of devastation. Now the U.S. is trying to get things under control, trying to get everyone, to calm down, to calm nerves. The National Security Advisor of the United States yesterday said they would like to see an end to this conflict. And then the Secretary of State, Anthony Blinken, was in Cairo, Egypt, in order to push through this much-needed ceasefire. On another front, the United Nations has passed a resolution asking Israel to end occupation within 1 year. It is not a binding resolution, but it is being viewed as symbolic, and some people also see it as a voice of reason because the United Nations Security Council has been paralyzed for at least a year over decision concerning this conflict. So a lot going on in that region, developing stories, so we will be hearing more.
I wanted to actually touch on that UN General Assembly resolution. Now, you had some countries abstain from that resolution, United Kingdom, Canada, and some other US allies. And now they say they absent, even though they're not voting, they agree with the resolution. However, they feel like the resolution was taken too far and it was one-sided and it will not help basically achieve that ceasefire that we're looking for. What are your thoughts on the absenting countries and their opinion about the UN General Resolution?
Well, Nkechi, you've just mentioned the normal culprits. Canada, the countries, whether it's Canada, whether it's the United States, whether it's the United Kingdom, the Western countries, the powerful ones, that literally run the world, they seem to be aligned in one end. And then on the other end, you have, countries of the global south, eager to see this end. United Nations Secretary General Guterres has warned of an escalation. He seems to be almost a lame duck, begging and pleading for these countries to see reason. The U.S. has said, okay, it wants to see a deal, but at the end of the day, on the ground, what actions is it taking? We do know that some people were saying that Israel had warned the U.S. it was going to do something. But it did not mention specifically. Initially, the U.S. said it wasn't involved. Now we know that they told them or they forewarned them, but they weren't told specifically what it was going to be. So some are seeing this as the U.S. complicit in what is going on in that region. The bottom line is that everyone wants a ceasefire to be cobbled together because it is in the interest of the countries in the region as well as the United States.
Now you've mentioned the United States. The talk is that Benjamin Netanyahu is beyond the control of the U.S. in spite of the fact that the U.S. supply weapons to him that is not kowtowing to the U.S.
There is that sentiment that it's difficult to manage Israel. I mean, there are a lot of Jewish people in the United States. There are, some of them are in government. They have a powerful lobby that engages with Congress. So literally, the U.S. is an ally and a solid ally of Israel. So it is able to push through whatever it wants. So there is that dilemma of the U.S. trying to make peace in the region, speak to the Middle East countries, whether it's Egypt, whether it's Qatar, the rest of them, and to say, please hold on. But in action, they think they continue to provide the aid and the money that Israel needs and the weapons that they need, and this has given them the edge and continues to give them the edge over other countries in the region.
Speaking from two sides of the mouth.
Now,
yes, exactly.
Let's just move quickly to the story that just came out of Mali in Bamako, the recent jihadist attack that ECOWAS has condemned. Now, with Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger all distancing themselves from ECOWAS, how does this fracture then affect regional cooperation when it comes to things like cooperating against terrorism? And can ECOWAS still then play a pivotal role in these regions that are facing this sort of attacks?
Okay, it is a dicey situation. They have pulled out of ECOWAS, but on a broader level, it is in the interest of ECOWAS that there's stability in every country, because whatever happens in one country will affect the other. You have refugees moving from one place to the other. It is still the same regional bloc, right, or the same geography. So I think that ECOWAS will continue to want to have a say on what goes on in those countries, or to say we can help you or we can have that discussion. Mali has been facing conflict since 2012. It is a complex and volatile situation. It started with some parts of the country wanting to have independence for the Tuaregs. Over the years, it steadily expanded to Islamic insurgency that almost consumed the country. It lost control of some parts. It had to ask for foreign military help from France. France came in. They got that help, but at the same time, they did not see a dramatic change. And then in 2022, the military government asked France to leave. They left, and then there has been some involvement by the Russian mercenary Wagner. We don't know whether this will change anything dramatically. The same is happening in Burkina Faso, where Islamic insurgency has, massacred over 100 villagers. That is even a weaker state. They have been facing this since 2016. So a difficult situation all round. It's yet to be seen how these countries will be able to manage this.
Yeah, the question is whether Mali can eat its cake and then have it. I mean, ECOWAS coming in or not. But then, this particular attack, I mean, military coup 2020 repeated in 2021, this particular attack now came into this capital city before the ISIL, the ISIS, the other terrorist organization organizations act outside the capital, but this came inside the capital. What's your sense?
I mean, that's a significant move, and that's a problem for them. They had lost control of some parts of the country before, and they were trying to get it back. Now, making a move on the capital is a major statement saying we have the military equipment, we have, you know, the firepower, and we have, you know, the muscle to be able to do that. So they are directly challenging the government.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Ikokwu.